Hello, everyone. We're joined by Willow this evening, and we're joined by a certain man from TB5, I believe, in the background there.
Oh, we are.
Can you tell us?
Oh,
No, not you, Ben.
Not.
No.
This is obviously the best, most important, most gorgeous Tracy in the entire world. And this is my absolutely amazing puppet replica done by the incredible Vaughan Harriet. So he is exact to how he would have been made in the studio. He is fully operational, so he could be strung and used if he wanted to be. He can high kick, which is great. And he's got everything, including his tiny little wristwatch. So he's stunning, and he's got perfect hair.
Of course he does. That is glorious. I love the details, like things like the little watch. That is extraordinary.
So I've got to sort his eyebrows out now, otherwise he'll look weird.
Yeah. Ben, if you had to have a puppet replica of any of the Super Mario Nation characters, or not Super Mario Nation characters, I suppose, just any puppet replica of anyone at all,
puppet replica of Richard James.
Of Richard James?
Puppet replica of Richard James. If it's any Anderson character, just turn one into a puppet.
Oh, right. So, well, Richard James already has a puppet replica, which is Mike Mercury.
It's true.
Mike Mercury is sort of a well-known lookalike for Richard James. No, I think maybe one of the aliens from Martian Invasion. I quite like that. Or maybe one of the aliens from Stingray. I'm just fond of the aliens in Super Mario Nation. That's quite cool.
Yeah, I like.
What about you, Jack? What's your replica puppet of choice?
Gotta be. I'd quite like an X20. I think.
Ooh, yeah.
I think with the bulging eyes and everything, I think it's just one of my favorite puppet characters of all time.
I couldn't do that. That would be too much like looking in a mirror.
Well, surely for you it would be an aquamphibian. You'd be like, no, I can't face having an aquamphibian. Not that I'm saying you look like an aquamphibian. I'm just saying it would be like a busman's holiday for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
Yeah. Well, there we are. Well, welcome everyone to the Security Hazard Show. It's the podcast that Thunderbird 5 repeatedly mistakes for a cry for help every week. It's the Security Hazard Show.
And your host is a man who's been trapped on a space station for a very long time. It's Jack Knoll. Hi, Jack. How's it going up there?
Help. You know what? Everything's fine. I'm pretty happy up here. Some say that my co-host, well, he's the only thing better than a dirty old bar of gold. It's Ben Wolf-Page.
Wowee, that's serious. And we have a very special guest with us.
Very special
host of the Jerry Anderson live streams over on TikTok just about every Tuesday. They're sort of ad hoc, but just about every Tuesday.
Yeah, pretty much.
And a noted John Tracy super fan, author of a great deal of Thunderbirds fan fiction, and sort of the mama bear of the whole Anderson fan community, dare I say.
Unfortunately, yes.
It's none other than Willow. Hello, Willow.
Hello, it's good to be here. So thank you for having me and brightening up my Wednesday night, because otherwise it'd be very boring.
Well, we're very happy to have you. We've been trying for a while to get you on because it's just you're just one of those people that we love chatting to about Thunderbirds and particularly.
And that's why I was here. I'm like, if you guys ask, I will come. I will be here. I will always join in.
And there was really no question about what we were going to talk about today. I always, whenever we have a guest on, I always just open it up and say, what do you want to talk about? We can chat about anything you like, whatever your specialist interest is. And I thought, maybe we won't end up chatting about John. Maybe there'll be something that some other part of the Anderson fandom that maybe Willow wants to cover, or some other specialist interest that I don't even know about. Wouldn't it be interesting to explore and unpack that? Well, no.
Nothing is not predictable.
And we love you for it. Everyone, we are chatting tonight all about the man from TB5. It's John Tracy, Space Monitor. And well, to do that, we've actually come up with a brand new segment for the show where we're planning in the future to cover all sorts of different Anderson characters in a lot of detail, and we have called it Exposed.
It's unbelievable.
So,
I love
to start
Matt
us off,
Zimmerman talking in not Matt Zimmerman's voice. It's my favorite thing.
it is very strange and unusual, isn't it? But to start us off, Willow, I'd be curious to know, where did your affection for John start? Is that the right word for it? How would you describe
my
it?
lifelong love affair with this man. I noticed actually on one of the posts that you put up, someone commented pretty much the same thing of the reasons that I have for loving John. And for me, it's the fact that whenever you ask for help, you deserve to know that there is someone out there that will listen and will send that help when you need it. It's just that knowledge of just someone ready to listen and someone willing to be there and someone to willingly, in a weird way, put their own life on hold to a certain extent so that your call doesn't go on hold, which I love that about him. It's just, I think John is the most important part of international rescue. I've said it, because without him, then there wouldn't be any international rescue because they would have no one to rescue.
Yeah.
You need
No,
my boy.
it does make me think that, yeah, I imagine anytime you're on hold on the phone for anything, I imagine you get particularly frustrated that there isn't someone there immediately answering your call. Yeah.
Especially if you're in danger. If it's like press 1 for earthquake, press 2 for flood, you know, you wouldn't want to go through this whole thing. You want someone to just answer the phone and go, "We're here. What do you need?"
Yeah.
Would you use the Thunderbird 5 drums as hold music, though? That's
I would.
The real
I
question.
I would do that. And then I think I'd probably, if I was feeling jazzy, just go for like Thunderbird 6 intro, you know, like the sort of like the jazzy summertime.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
like hold music to me.
Yeah.
In the best possible way.
Yeah. So, you know, when did Thunderbirds sort of come into your life? When did you start watching Thunderbirds and how did you get into it?
I'm aging myself here, but 90s revival, baby. My mum was a massive fan of Thunderbirds in the OG era, so she watched it right at the beginning. I keep telling her that I'm going to put her in a very bad, cheap old people's home now for getting rid of my inheritance. But she was such a fan that she had like the dolls and Lady Penelope's tea set and like Fab One, and she has none of it now. I know.
That's a real shame. Yeah.
Distraught. But yeah, so when the Channel 5 videos came out and when they started showing it on BBC, she was like, "You have to watch this show. You will love it." And the first one we see is my boy, and instant love. Though weirdly enough, my mum had kept a couple of the annuals, so I kind of had sort of flicked through them at my nan and granddad's a few times. So I was kind of aware of Thunderbirds even before the Channel 5 videos came out. But when it came out and I actually saw them for the first time, I was like, this is amazing, because it's literally pictures and stories come to life, and it was just perfect for me, and I've never looked back really.
Yeah.
Wow. So was Trapped in the Sky the first one that you remember seeing?
No, it would have been Thunderbirds to the Rescue. Would have been the first one I saw, because
Rescue.
the old Channel 5 videos did not have them singularly.
That's right. Right.
Yeah. So, nice combination then of Trapped in the Sky and Operation Crash Dive.
Yeah.
Both quite nice.
Those two always go together in my head perfectly.
Of course. Yeah, we love those compilations.
I would have been better with more John in it, though, to be fair.
I like, though, that we get a bit of John at home time. I think it's nice that we have those moments. You disagree?
Like the moments. I don't like it when there could be so much he could be doing his job in Thunderbird 5 and it gets given to Alan. Justice for John.
Yeah, there are a few examples of that. I mean, we were talking about The Uninvited a few weeks ago on the podcast, and that's kind of a similar situation of like, as soon as there's a need for Thunderbird 5 to be a little bit more active in the story, suddenly John is taken away and Alan's put in place. Do you think that was, I mean, I think we kind of have to address this. where do
elephant
you
in the
stand
room.
on the idea of Jerry Anderson did not like John Tracy? Where does that
think
sit for
it's
you?
a convenient myth.
Okay. That's a nice way
I
of putting
know
it.
that myself and Andrew Clements have delved into this a little bit because we're like that. And so we've had a nose about, and we've done some research because obviously this was a very important topic to me, because being the John Tracy fan that I am, the first thing that anyone says to me as soon as I say John's my favourite is, Joey hated him. And it's illegal to slap people. So I had to do some research to actually prove that this was not correct. And yeah, I stand on that as being a complete myth, or more of an elaborated kind of story than anything. Because I've heard some wild theories to go with why he hated John. Wild theories.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems it's always seemed very arbitrary to me that John is just hated for no reason. I mean, what is it about John that there is to dislike? I mean,
what is there that you, as the creator of the show, couldn't correct? Couldn't change.
Right.
We know that over the course of the production of lots of the Anderson shows, if there was an element that wasn't working or needed to be changed, then they would have done
they
it.
just changed.
There's that whole thing of apparently Jerry hated the sculpt and didn't like the sculpt of him, didn't think he looked heroic enough. I'm sorry, chiseled jawline, nose and superhero curl. He's a blonde Superman. What is not heroic about that?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I've never bought that argument. I think it comes down to, this is my own personal theory on it anyway, is that if you're asked the same question over and over again, like people noticing a certain thing in something you've created, and people keep asking you questions about it, if you don't have a good answer, you sort of want to invent one, really, just for the purposes of keeping a conversation going, really.
That's what we found in the research. Was it seems to have stemmed from one of Jerry's book tours, where someone asked him again and he just went, "Oh, I hated him," as like a colourful comment.
Right.
And someone's taken that and just ran with it and then invented so much other stuff with it. I was talking to Dee a while ago, and we was talking about how Sylvia saw the characters and how important Sylvia saw characterization within the shows. And that's the main reason that we always see that little clip at the beginning of Thunderbirds of how the characters got into the jam that they're in. Because if we didn't care about them and we didn't get to know them, we wouldn't care about them, or we wouldn't care if they were rescued or not. And for storyline purposes and pacing within the story, I understand why John was not used more. I'm bitter about it, and I will forever be bitter about it, but I completely understand it, because you couldn't have that whole why the rescue's happening being repeated 3 times. You couldn't see it and then have John pick up the call and then transfer to Jeff and repeat it 3 or 4 times. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So I understand why he's not used more than he is.
Yeah, he performs his function, and he does it very, very well.
He does his job. He does it perfectly, even when in his dressing gown.
Of course. And doesn't he look fabulous doing it?
Even though it's Troy's dressing gown, and we're pretty sure that Gordon stole it during Wasp and we gifted it at Christmas, but there you go.
Love that. Love this.
Wow.
Willow, this is why we have you on, because
The
like Ben
secret's
and
being
I
revealed.
do not know that kind of lore. But genuinely, actually, Ben and I, we've talked about this before, kind of off the podcast, about how we obviously like these shows and we like these characters, but it's not in our nature, I think, to kind of, I don't know, engage with it on that more imaginative level, I suppose, that more sort of, I don't know, like taking that lore so seriously and being inventive of connecting dots and things like that. I certainly look at it much more as like, well, it's the TV show. There were that many episodes. That's what we've got. Great. But Willow, you kind of are able to look at it in a more expanded and thoughtful way. Which I think
that's purely down to my place in the fandom more than anything. because I started kind of writing the fan fictions and stuff during lockdown, which was when sort of the podders and other stuff happened, because I was writing what would happen to the Tracys in lockdown as a fun thing. And I started, someone started a fanzine that we were doing as well. So I was doing interviews with Live from 5. So John had his own podcast. And those sort of silly bits just came about because of people writing questions to John. And it's also doing the live streams on like TikTok and things. People ask me stuff and you have to kind of come up with a reason straight away as John's designated wife. So it's stuff I need to know.
I love that, like a designated driver, designated wife.
But if we look in the armory of Tracy Island, you see the wasp pistols, so we know that Gordon's klepto.
Yeah, that is true. I did wonder about that. Yeah, what that pistol was doing there. Yeah, that explains it. That answers a lot of questions.
Yeah. Christmas shopping.
Yeah, love that. So I think what would be great is I've compiled in front of me a collection of all my favorite Thunderbirds books and things like that, all of which feature John Tracy biographies in one way or another. And there are like a few little inconsistencies that I need an expert to kind of help clarify. So I was hoping you can sort this out for me.
I will try.
So
I'm on the spot now.
Let's start.
Jack's good at that. As a co-host of the Security Hazard Show, I have to say, being put on the spot is a specialty of Jack's.
Thank you. It's what I do. You're very welcome to turn the tables on me anytime you feel like it. Right. Let's start with John's birthday.
Okay.
October 8th or October 28th?
October 8th, but I like the 28th more. But October 8th, it's only been shown as the 28th in like one bit of lore, whereas it's consistently the 8th on most other things.
Right. Yeah, that's sort of what I was finding, is it's sort of started in the 60s publicity material as being October 8th, and then at some point along the line, there was probably a typo or something, honestly, and probably, it got changed to 28th. But why, I have to ask, why does the 28th sound better to you?
Because when I was talking to Dee about it, she said that Sylvia went to the point of giving them birthdays based on their personalities, based on their star signs as well. And John is more of a Scorpio than a Libra to me.
Wow. I had no idea that Sylvia went to that extent.
It's that elaborate.
That's pretty interesting.
That is extraordinary.
I feel like the Zodiac was sort of like the 60s. There's sort of a popular thing now, or maybe 10 years ago now, the Enneagram, where people sort of assign personalities based on numbers and all this kind of thing. I feel like the Zodiac was sort of that in the 60s. It's happening
in quite a few of like the Lady Penelope annuals as well, where she shows celebrities and things like that and puts their star signs and talks a little bit about them and things like that. So yeah, it was a big thing then.
Was there ever like a Thunderbirds horoscope?
I think there might have been some. I know that there was a handwriting analysis of them all.
Ooh, this is fascinating.
Yeah, and in that they've actually mixed up the pictures of Scott and Virgil.
To coin a phrase, how dare!
I know.
I believe that's what they say, isn't it, Willow?
I'll charge you 5p for every how dare you use. It's copyrighted. Yeah.
Trademark infringement.
No, I love that though. But start. I mean, looking at star signs and John Tracy feels like it goes together nicely. So that all makes sense.
He was out there watching the stars.
Yeah,
that's what he was doing.
So this biography I have in front of me, which is the 1992 Thunderbirds annual, which I believe borrows from one of the original 60s annuals as well. It starts with fair and handsome. 25-year-old John is the dreamer of the Tracy household. I'm assuming you're not disagreeing with
Dreamboat, yes.
And 25? Does that sound about right to you?
I agree with that. There's one bit of lore where they say he's 35, and it scares me every time. But that was definitely a typo. I think that was a bit of information for the Thunderbirds Are Go movie that got it wrong.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Much of his time is spent as space monitor in Thunderbird 5 International Rescue Space Station, and in this position, he is generally the first person to alert the island base of any disaster. An electronics expert with a degree in laser communications.
Wow.
Anybody know what laser communications might entail? It sounds like
Communicating with lasers.
it just sounds like shooting painful laser beams at people's faces.
I think he actually did his thesis on communication and matter at the edge of the universe as well. So,
Wow.
Whoa. So is that like a laser pointer with your cat, where you're
Yes.
sort of like flashing it and
try to
trying
flash it off the
communicate?
moon and see what happens. Yeah.
Right.
Does he sit there in Thunderbird 5 and just
With a laser pointer?
bounce it off
Every
the
time a rocket goes past, he tries to confuse them. That's not a telescope on top of Thunderbird 5. It's a big old laser pointer.
Who knew? Who knew? I'm learning so much on this podcast.
learning so many things. Yeah. Let's see. John is the quietest and most intellectual of all the boys.
Smart
Would we
boy.
say so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anyone who's a bit more clever than
Is he
he
kind
is.
of naturally quiet, John? Is he?
He's a
more
middle
reserved?
child syndrome, isn't it? You have to be.
Oh, okay.
You're not the baby. You're not the eldest. You're stuck in the middle. You're going to be quiet.
Ah. Well, you brought it up. I wasn't going to go here, but middle child.
Yes.
Where that's your stance on
Yep.
that.
Firm. Never changing.
Firm.
Ben,
Wow.
thoughts?
I always assumed that the order that they show up in the credits is by order of age. Otherwise, what reason would there be for them showing up in that order?
Apparently, it's order of how it sort of goes in rescue. So Thunderbird 1 is out there first. John is the one that's kind of communicating in between. Thunderbird 2 is one that follows, and the rest are after.
Okay.
Apparently.
In that case, then John
then
should
the
be
rest.
first because he gets
John
the.
should be first, but he's never first, apart from in portrait order.
Right.
Yes.
That's true. That's
yes.
true. So
Yeah.
why are the portraits in that order? Goodness.
Because John's first and needs to be near the desk.
Well,
So
yeah, I
Jeff
think
has to get his glasses out to look at him.
that's purely a practical thing. Yeah, you've got to
It
have
is.
John directly in front of the desk. It would
He's the
look
one you're
weird
gonna
if
talk
Jeff
to
was
the
having
most.
to shout across the other side of the room in order to talk to John every single week.
No, John's portrait should definitely be where Lady Penelope's is, so that he's like, "Hello, son."
What, so he could ignore him better?
No, I would never say that.
Yeah.
Never.
It's fine. They're going to be saying it in the comments. It's fine.
We do,
I've
yeah.
been misquoted.
Penguin Made of Dynamite says, yeah, agreed on the middle child vibe. Meanwhile, Mark Perkins says credit order is age order. So
Mark agrees with me.
you're never going to get people to agree. Honestly, doesn't make much difference to me.
Doesn't
We'll
really
just have
make
to
that
see when
much
the technical manual comes out of it, what order it comes out, because that will be definitive.
Ah, have you been able to influence?
I have.
All
Of
right.
course.
All
I
right.
think we know where that's gonna land.
Oh, those boys don't let me influence the Thunderbirds
I've,
technical manual.
I've checked John's bio and made sure and gave it the tick of approval first. So
Well done.
Okay,
Well-
well that's good. Continuing on this biography I've got in front of me, it says his favorite pastime is studying astronomy, and his job as a space monitor gives him ample opportunity to pursue this hobby. I feel like that's a dig. I feel like the ample opportunity to suggest that John has a lot of spare time on his hands is a bit rude.
it's a bit mean, to be fair.
But apparently, the discovery of the Tracy quasar system was due to John's incessant space searching.
It was.
Incessant? What? Okay. What is a quasar?
Big space thing.
Big space thing. Yeah.
Best I got. Best I got.
I believe it's a kind of subatomic particle, isn't it? Quasar? Anybody? Any scientists in the chat? Confirm that?
Anyone who can help us out with that?
I have a degree in John, nothing else.
If anyone could find a
John,
subatomic
if only
particle,
John could tell us.
if anyone could find that out in space, looking across at everything, I don't know. Is it something you look for in a telescope? I really have no idea. Do you just
Well, he
search
was
under the
space
desk?
searching,
I don't
so I'm
know.
assuming so.
He found a Tracy quasar somewhere. Yeah.
Trazar.
Now,
Tracy Quasar. Trazar.
Here's an interesting thing. Although slight in build, John is a tremendously lithe and graceful person. Any
So he's
Any-
basically just one of those inflatable guys in a car parking lot, is he? Is that what we're saying?
I guess so. I'm curious when does he demonstrate his gracefulness? I don't feel
Climbing
like-
up that wobbly ladder in Danger Ocean Deep.
This is true.
You're right. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I absolutely hate those kinds of ladders. I couldn't bear doing something like
And we
that.
know we don't trust Thunderbird 2 magnets, so you know that thing's wobbling and sliding along the deck.
But you know, John's good with heights, so
He is.
makes sense.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
At school, he obtained many awards for athletics, which he insists has contributed to his clearness of thought and mental agility.
Track and field.
Okay. I like the idea, though, that he's incredibly sporty and yeah, that's why I'm so clever. He's like the kid at school who can do everything, like good at sports, good at,
Yeah.
maths,
The complete
all that
Thunderbird
stuff.
story shows him in some very nice little short shorts, I must admit. And there's another bit of something somewhere that says he also does free diving as well,
Whoa.
and skin
Okay.
diving and stuff, whatever it's called. So yeah, he does
I love that.
good lungs on that lad.
And he has ample opportunity on Tracy Island for lots of diving because the swimming around there is to die for.
It is.
Yes. Yes.
But how does he exercise in space? How does he manage his track and field? Does he have a space exercise routine? I feel like he
I
does
like
in
to think
TAC.
he has like a hamster wheel somewhere in the bottom of Thunderbird 5 that he just runs
Yeah.
around.
There must be. There must be.
Got me.
Bless him. Right. Following in his father's footsteps, John became an astronaut after leaving Harvard University. This experience was invaluable when he returned home to become involved in international rescue. For when Alan relieves him in the space station, the command of Thunderbird 3 is handing over to John. So, yes, so John went to Harvard.
Mhm.
I think that checks out with everything else that we've said, and basically went straight into. Did he have any? This doesn't really mention. Did he have any jobs before international rescue?
I don't think so. I know he went to Tracy College, and that was where he did his astronaut training, I believe. And I think he actually spent time with NASA or someone doing like space communications as well before Thunderbird 5.
Hmm.
Yeah, that checks out. That makes sense. Love that. I love that you have that just at your fingertips. That's great.
I can't remember my own date of birth, but I can remember his.
Well, speaking of date of birth, I mean, we've talked about. I guess while you're here, want to weigh in on 2026 versus 2065 and how that affects John's birthday.
It was clearly set in 2065. It could not be set in anything else. It's I know it's probably literally just the fact they never expected people to be looking that closely at anything in the background of the shows, especially not 60 years later. They didn't even think you had a way of recording it. They didn't even think it was going to be shown again. You know, it's just, and you're watching it on a screen like literally that big, and you know, I don't think they were paying that much attention to it. If you look at the newspapers, I mean, and everything, you wouldn't, unless you're a kid sitting there with a magnifying glass to check what the newspaper says. I think it's literally just a production thing. They've already said in interviews that it was set in 2065. It was anything that was set with like the calendar in, my brain's gone. I've lost the Christmas episode.
Give or take a million. Yeah,
that's the one. Thank you. My brain just went with names there. Yeah, it's just I'm firmly on it was a 2065 thing.
Yeah.
I tend to agree. I feel like that's sort of the consensus. There's all sorts of years that come up over the course of Thunderbirds. It's not just that 2026 calendar, but there's all sorts of strange dates on newspapers, as you say. And I think it just makes sense given the context of the other shows around it, Stingray and Captain Scarlet, which are all set 100 years in the future, plus the innumerable books and comics and greater expanded universe of Thunderbirds, yeah, 2065 all the way.
It
That's
doesn't
just
make
how I feel.
sense to be anything else.
But I'm also open to alternative arguments.
I'm a big fan of the idea that every episode takes place on Christmas Eve 1964 because a newspaper
Every
said
single
it.
one.
Yeah,
Everyone.
like that newspaper appears multiple times in the show, so that's where I stand on that. And you cannot.
Maybe it just
disagree
took
me
that
on
long for the post to actually reach Tracy Island. It's gone through loads of PO boxes, so we can't find where it's from.
That's such a good idea. I love that. Now, I think that covers the biographical stuff very nicely. I wanted to take a look at some moments from the TV series itself. So I love the fact that John is the first Tracy brother that we are introduced to. And it's a really nice moment for him. He kind of has his own little spotlight, whereas Gordon and Alan barely get a look in Trapped in the Sky. They basically have one line of dialogue each, but John features a decent amount in the beginning of that episode. I think that's really nice. Do you enjoy that
like
shot
that
of him
as well.
standing by the window?
It's a beautiful shot. It is absolutely stunning. I think the interior of Thunderbird 5 is absolutely gorgeous as well. And if John wasn't the most important, why is the only one with his own little theme tune?
Does have his
true.
own little tune, doesn't he?
Scott, Virgil,
Can't argue with
Alan, Gordon, they don't really have their own little tune.
That tune's for him and not for Thunderbird
It is.
5. It's specifically for John.
John's. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Well, they're sort of linked, aren't they? Thunderbird 5 and John. There's a sort of a simpatico there. Where it's like
Apparently that's part of that whole, it gets into that Jerry hated John thing again. Because apparently, because they were getting quite into the merchandising at that point as well, Jerry wanted it that every single brother had a designated Thunderbird, so that when kids were playing with the toys and when they were playing make-believe and things like that, they knew exactly which one was which. So John is designated Thunderbird 5.
Yes.
it's such a clever merchandising ploy as well to effectively be like, well, here's these action figures, but you need 5 of them. And that a lot of times we know that they're not always individually sculpted, right? They're just repainted sometimes. So it's quite clever, quite ingenious to have
And
a
in terms of, I mean, that's probably is part of the reason of John not being so visible in certain merchandise lines is the fact that Thunderbird 5 was not as visible in certain merchandise lines, because Thunderbird 5 fundamentally is hard to make a toy out of. I've always said if only Derek Meddings didn't stick this antenna on the bottom of it, you wouldn't have nearly as many problems with making toys out of Thunderbird 5.
The 60s Thunderbird 5 looks nothing like Thunderbird 5.
I love it though, a little bit. I enjoy the charm of it.
I love it, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's the one that's got a little John figure up in the.
It does, but he's got brown hair for some reason.
Oh. Well, that's not right. But then, there are many.
Maybe it's one of those very few times that Scott was in there and Scott's taken something else from John. I don't know.
or there was a hydrogen peroxide shortage that week.
Are you suggesting it's not naturally blonde?
Well, it's very blonde though, isn't it? I mean, it's
Willow, what do you reckon?
Quite platinum. Does John dye, or is it natural? Oh.
That's
too personal to question. That's
We're not
where the show ended.
Zip, not happening.
Thanks for coming to the Security Hazard Show. I'm Ben.
We crossed a line. That's that. Right. Well, how about this then? In Pit of Peril, I like John's little clipboard.
I love his little clipboard. My baby needs a clipboard. He needs to feel. It's got his shopping list on it, but he needs his little clipboard.
Yeah, it doesn't really come up again him using his little clipboard. He most of the time seems to just remember all the details.
But then Pit of Peril, if you go with kind of like a run order, it's like the second episode. Maybe he's just not in the swing of things yet.
Yeah. So he needs to take notes to start with. Yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense. I was wondering whether John has access on Thunderbird 5 to not the internet, because that doesn't, to me anyway, in my mind, doesn't really exist in the original series, but some form of information matrix where he's able to look up all this information about Sidewinder. I
think
guess
he's got to have it somewhere. I think
Yeah.
with all the technology that International Rescue has, and the fact that they can scan every single like transmission everywhere at some point, they've got to have some kind of access to some kind of data bank, even if it's one that Brains has created for them.
I love the
Yeah.
idea
just
that
get
somewhere on
updated all
Thunderbird
the
5
time.
there's just a room which is just tapes.
Yeah.
Just everywhere. And isn't that a thing in the new series of John having a huge physical media collection? Am I
I think he
imagining that?
probably does. He strikes me as the type that would. But considering he was streaming Stingray, probably not.
Actually, I think I've conflated something that Ben said on one of our Patreon commentaries. I think I've got mixed up with
Honestly,
a piece
if
of
you're
law that Ben
making a law
invented.
now, I'm down for it. I am down for that law. I do believe my boy
Don't
likes
listen to
real
me,
books.
Jack. That's your first mistake.
It just shows how susceptible I am. You can just say whatever and
Power
it
You
goes
can
in.
say
and-
anything and you'll believe me at this point.
Yeah.
No, there's
Fair
definitely a room in Thunderbird 5 that's like Shadow HQ, where it has like a room full of or like Sid in UFO. That's just like a room full of reel to reel computer tape. That's just data.
I
And
think
John
there's
can
got to
consult
be.
that
It's
Yeah.
got to be.
because he just has too much information at his fingertips at all time to not have a computer like that.
Well, he's a very clever man. We've established he knows a lot.
This is
of
I
true.
mean, when did like microfiches come in?
Oh, it certainly would have been around in
So
the 60s.
maybe he's just got like a lot of microfiche information that he can just flick through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
Libraries can do it. Why can't he?
Exactly.
exactly. Now, John can't be at work all the time. He has to go home at some point, and we get a really nice moment in City of Fire where John is very excited to be heading home, but alas, he doesn't get to.
Spoke
In
to
the end.
you.
Spoke too soon. And
Uh-oh.
we get inside, get a look inside John's little bedroom there, which is quite nice.
It's nice that they bothered to give him a bit of a personal life, sort of life outside of the office, so to speak. That he has his own room and he's got a bunch of books in there and a globe, and you sort of get an idea, a glimpse of what he might be like as a person, actually on screen, not just
Yeah.
in an annual.
And he's got some
comic.
kind of award on the wall as well, some kind of certificate.
Ooh.
So he's a special
Oh.
boy.
Do we know what that is?
No.
Have a theory?
We've all looked, we've all zoomed in and looked, and it's not clear at all what it is. So
Hmm. Well, holding out for a 4K so that we can see that in even
I
more
I don't
detail.
know. I don't know if I
Find
want to
out
see it.
what
It'd
that
be
is.
a shame if it was like, oh, it's his swimming certificate, or you know.
it's going to be
John's
like a little
proudest
astronaut
achievement,
cap
Michael.
from when he was 6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Kindergarten attendance.
yeah. Also, I mean, it is very funny that he has a globe in his room. What,
He's got the whole
What does
Earth.
he need that for? He's got the real thing, like right in front of him at all
To
times.
check what he's looking at when the world's turning.
It's like, what's that bit down there?
What's this
Oh
crazy
yeah,
stuff?
Africa.
Because oh, that's new. Why- I've not seen that bit before. Oh
Exactly.
dear. Better call someone about that. Yeah. No,
This
it's
is totally a rabbit hole, but I'm going to bring it up anyway.
Who does international rescue call when something like that goes wrong? Though? You know you do.
Brains. They call brains.
But no, what's
What,
your rabbit hole then?
How does gravity work on Thunderbird 5? Is it spinning? Or does it have some sort of artificial gravity generator?
Artificial gravity generator.
All right, okay. Yeah. I'm sure this will all be confirmed in the upcoming International Rescue Technical Operations Manual.
I think it's literally just in a lot of like the cutaways and stuff like that.
Okay.
A lot of them, it's all on there.
Yeah. There's no real other way of explaining. I mean, I love what they do in Thunderbirds Argo with the redesigned Thunderbird 5 and the wheel that spins around. I think that is very clever.
They really do make use of that. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, just like sitting down and them going, right, okay, how does Thunderbird 5 actually, well, how could we make it work and how could we add a bit more science into this? I think
there's a few sketches that they did of like designs of the new Thunderbird 5 where they're actually showing different bits and going, how can we make this be as realistic to what could actually work in real life and not? So they've really put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite of the Thunderbird 5s that never were? The kind of concept art Thunderbird 5s that have come out?
Not really, no. Some of them do look a bit squiffy, I must admit. They're not great.
Squiffy is a great adjective. I like that.
Yeah. I do love the Thunderbird 5 that we got. I mean, it looks like a bagel, so we know that that's just John's doing, and I love it.
John and his bagel.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's interesting you bring up like the redesigns because I think, Ben, when we've covered the redesigns on this podcast before, it always sort of feels like Thunderbird 5, bit of an afterthought usually, or they sort of go too far with it where it doesn't look quite right at all. So yeah, that new series, Thunderbird 5, I really do like it. I love the original. I love the original design of it as well. This is the thing.
The original is like that gorgeous classic car, like this big old classic car, and the new one is like this sporty little number, and both have their place and both are beautiful and perfect.
Like the classic Volkswagen Beetle and the new Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah. Ooh, I would disagree about the new Volkswagen Beetle. Not a fan.
You don't like the new Volkswagen?
No, I don't. Not compared to the old one, anyway.
Cadillac and a Porsche.
Yeah,
just
there you go.
Gorgeous thing.
Oh, there we go. So anyway, City of Fire. John goes back down to Earth, or he's due to go back down to Earth. The Uninvited. He actually finally gets to go back down to Earth for the first time. And doesn't he talk about like he can't wait to get in the pool? Just think, well, they could have put a little swimming pool up on Thunderbird 5 maybe for him. Would have been nice.
The water can float around everywhere.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I was going to say put a lid on it, but no, that would be a horrible thing to do to someone, to encase them in a swimming pool. No, don't do that. But
let's avoid that if possible.
Underwater Commissioner Simmons. Terrifying.
Yes. So a couple of these early episodes, like City of Fire, The Uninvited, The Mighty Atom, they all send John sort of back and forth from Thunderbird 5 quite a lot, and it gets established like, okay, this is a sort of regular thing that happens. Willow, where do you stand on like satellite duty with Thunderbird 5? And is it a monthly rotation? Is it just a coincidence?
I do agree with the monthly rotation. I agree with monthly rotation, but I do feel like Alan comes up with a lot of reasons why to put it off. I feel like, and John just is too nice to say no.
Okay, so that's why we.
That's why that moment when Alan says to him, "You owe me 6,000," John like, "Hey, yeah, right," and just leaves because it's just he's like, "No, you owe me way more than that."
Do you think he resents Alan at all because he's always sort of, avoiding his duty in the space station? Or is he just such a giving older brother that he doesn't
I think
mind?
he is just. I feel like, considering he is the quietest Tracy, I feel like by the end of the month on Tracy Island, he's probably so done with them and so tired of their noise that he just wants to go back for a while, just for a bit of peace. Yeah. He's like, I haven't been able to read for a month because these won't shut up. Virgil's always playing that piano. It's just like I can't cope with it.
I think that's how I would be if I had 4 siblings. I'd be like, yeah, send me up to the space station for a while, Dad.
Yeah, for sure. But are there? Do you feel like there are particular brothers that he gets along well with more than others? What do you feel like that dynamic is between all the brothers?
I think that John probably gets on with Scott and Virgil more, because I feel like Gordon and Alan will probably just annoy him and be quite young and quite sort of jokey and in your face a little bit. So I feel like he's probably used to kind of like hanging out with Scott and Virgil more. But in New Thunderbirds, I would love to have seen more of Gordon and John.
Right.
Because we didn't get enough of it, and I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. But I do like, actually, in the new series, obviously they go to greater lengths to include John in the stories more anyway. And they do explore some of those character dynamics that we never really got to see much in the original series. But yes, I agree. They could have gone a little further with that. But yeah, it's nice. It's very nice. Now, Operation Crash Dive, we talked about kind of earlier on in the show. John, sadly, stuck at home the whole time. I quite like that personally, but I know you would rather he was in the heart of the action. For some reason, I'm always drawn to the moment where John asks whether Fireflash's troubles are down to metal fatigue. And there is a moment later in the episode where metal fatigue is specifically ruled out.
Yeah, just mean.
For some reason, I don't know why, it always feels like that's a personal dig at John. It's like, no, John, your suggestion is foolish.
It's a personal dig at my boy. Yeah. I feel like John should have been in Thunderbird 5 for that episode. Purely, not just because of my love of my boy, but because I feel like if they're going to do the Alan and John switching things, then they should have had at least one episode where John was in Thunderbird 3 as well, to make it fair. I just feel like if they were going to stick with each boy having their specific designated job and Thunderbird, then he should have been in his Thunderbird doing his job. There is nothing that Alan could have done that John couldn't. It just doesn't feel right to me. It feels like if you're going to be like that, if you're going to make that a point, don't give Alan both jobs, because that's just greedy. And that's just wrong. That's just not fair. That's just not fair.
I mean, that is Alan all over, though, isn't it?
It is.
So self-centered.
I'm not happy about it. Yeah. It's just
that's
not
funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a particular rescue that you would stick, like say, disregarding the actual rescue that he went on, in Danger at Ocean Deep? Is there a rescue in the show that you're like, John should have been more involved in that? Sun Probe. You feel like he should have been aboard Thunderbird 3?
Yep. I feel like he would have. I feel like Alan is a little bit impetuous with things. I don't feel like Alan quite thinks things through as much as he should do. And I feel like there's a lot of it where John would have probably been a little bit more on top of it than Alan was.
Alan sort of gives up the ghost, doesn't he? He just sort of collapses at a crucial moment.
I feel like Alan just kind of relied on Scott being there to tell him what to do for a bit of it. And I feel like
Alan
done that. Because literally, I mean, I know, like we said, we kind of only see John in Danger at Ocean Deep. But in that one, you can see him take an active role in it, in communicating with Scott and sort of with Virgil, and even almost telling Virgil what to do a little bit. So he's actively playing a part of it, whereas I feel like Alan doesn't really do that. He just kind of just waits for an order and just sits there like a big lemon.
And also, in Sun Probe, one of the things I always found odd is that the Solarnauts only ever really hear from Thunderbird 3 once, to let them know they're on the way. And then Alan doesn't really talk to them, and they spend the episode wondering if they're about to die or not, because nobody's telling them what's going on.
Whereas John would have been doing that. He would
communication.
Have been
yeah,
communication's John's thing.
If you think about the job of someone that takes emergency calls, Their job is not just to take the emergency call. It's to assess the situation, give help and guidance to help people get out of that situation or look after themselves to keep themselves safe until the help gets there. That's John's job. He's literally doing that in between everything else. So he would have been doing stuff to actually tell the Solonauts how to look after themselves a little bit better as well. I feel like John would have just been better at it.
That's it. That's why John's so much more popular with the ladies. It's because he's good at communication and he's a listener.
He listens and anticipates what you need.
That's it. Oh, man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like scales have fallen from my eyes. I can see.
That's why I love it.
Start implementing some of John's practices in your own love life, then.
Absolutely.
Is that where you've been going wrong the whole time?
I haven't put enough distance. I haven't been up in the space
You
station.
haven't been in space enough.
Gonna install a portrait with my face in the living room.
Yeah.
Just to speak to my baby. Hiya,
right.
sweetie.
In Brink of Disaster, here's an interesting moment. John has to take an emergency call from his own father and has to play it totally cool. And again, this plays off of the idea that John is just a really good communicator. He immediately reads the situation and understands. Same thing happens with Brains in Day of Disaster. He just kind of gets what's happening kind of straight away and goes along with it.
Not as quick in Day of Disaster.
Oh, that's true.
No, if you listen to just the audio of it, he seems so confused and thinking that Brains is just like playing some game with him on the phone and he just needs to go along with it. He's just like, you okay, Brains? Like, what are you doing and why are you calling? Like, what's going on? John's just not used to anyone in the family calling him. We see this in Atlantic Inferno. Like, Scott calls and he's like, why are you calling? What do you want? So when his dad and Brains are both calling, he's like,
I'm the same whenever I get a phone call. It's immediately like, what are you phoning me for?
Yeah.
You don't need.
My phone's been on silent.
It does not need to be a phone call.
That's your voicemail. Why the call? Why the call,
I think
Scott?
particularly for John, probably. Yeah, people calling him unnecessarily probably does bug him because he's like, well, I've got a job. I need to be listening out. So please don't fill the air with small talk. I don't need it.
Imagine they call him up every night to tell them what they had for dinner and he's got like space rubbish and they've had a takeaway. It would be so annoying.
I don't know. I don't think getting a takeaway on Tracy Island is probably all it's
You
cracked
could
up to
send
be. It'd
Scott.
be
He
cold
could be
by
there
the time
in
it got
2
there.
Send Scott. It's fine.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What does he eat up there in space? Is there like an international rescue?
Good question.
Like frozen dinner?
It
that Brains has
depends
invented?
what law you want to go into.
Yes, Willow. Yes, come on.
Depends what law you want to go into. Because if you go with the books that I hate, which is the Jo Marie Verba books,
not mincing words at all.
I'm not. No, I'm sorry. I won't go into the hatred of why, but
that's a whole separate podcast.
It's a whole separate rant that could take me 2 hours. In that, you've got that Curano worked with NASA developing food literally for space. So the freezing and the what's the one I'm looking for? The processing of it, all of it was done so that it could be as shelf stable but as close to normal food as possible. Like stuff he can microwave, stuff that he can like look up and do really easy. But also, for some reason, John has bread up there as well and makes Alan toast. So he has like a full kitchen, apparently, but also a knife that kind of cuts the bread and sort of sears it and toasts it as it cuts.
That's great.
Right.
It's weird, but there you go. So he has every kind of food that he wants up there, apparently.
Wow.
Okay.
And is there an alternative explanation, or is that sort of the one that we go?
I don't know. Marshmallows? I don't know. It's never been mentioned in the show. It's never been mentioned really on any other kind of lore that I've read, like any of the John Faden books or anything like that. It's never been mentioned. Though Scott does have an iced coffee maker on Thunderbird 1 in the John Fader books.
Wow.
And I love that for him. He's so bougie. I love that for him.
I don't remember that Baden book.
I will send you it. I've got a screenshot of it because I put it on Tumblr a while ago. It's so fun. And you know what? He makes himself an iced coffee before he calls John and tells him what's going on. Before he updates John, iced coffee first. You know he's a Starbucks boy.
That's priorities right there.
It is.
This is not a version of Thunderbirds that I recognize. It's like you're speaking another language. I'm like, why?
You have to be deep in the books as well. You have to be deep in the books.
Real deep.
Goodness me.
That's fascinating. So, yeah, well, it always struck me that they have Grandma at Tracy Island, who's dedicated. They've got Kirano. They've got like a kitchen staff, effectively on Tracy Island, where they're clearly eating well. On the ground,
and lots of it,
lots of apple pie, just serving after serving of apple pie directly into Scott's mouth.
Yeah,
but up in Thunderbird 5, what's he got? And you're like,
they were like rations. Like, what's going on? This is unfair.
Kirano's freeze dried entrees. What even is this?
I mean, how else are you supposed to stay tremendously lithe and graceful? You know,
so you're basically saying skinny. My boy's starved up there.
The John Tracy diet.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think about John's Operation Cover-Up portrait that we see? I think it looks very snazzy.
I like it. I do think it is a little bit snazzy. I quite like his little angle that he has with his little ciggy and everything. I quite like his little angle. So it's quite fancy.
Yeah. I think it's.
I like some wardrobe choices, but I like any picture of John is gorgeous. I do prefer the picture of John in Thunderbirds Go where Jeffy's flicking through his wallet. Though I prefer that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, while we're sort of on that topic, series 1 or series 2, John?
Series 1.
Oh.
Series 2's John's nice, but they lose the curl, and that's just wrong.
Oh,
you need to superhero curl.
I've never thought about that before, but that's true.
His whole face looks wrong. And I think, for me, the season 2 puppets and all of them look wrong. And I know it's because they obviously redid them for the big screen. So they just look, weirdly enough, out of proportion slightly for the TV show now. And Virgil's eyes go in 2 different directions quite often.
Yes.
Which is slightly disturbing.
Yes, they do.
They look like they have eaten too many pies. They do look like they've filled out a little bit. They look, I don't know if it's maybe they're trying to look a little bit older or something. They just don't look right. They don't look like them. They look like a slight knockoff version of them.
Yes, the alien duplicate.
It's Team Thunderbirds right there, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Team of the Thunderbirds.
Next question. I'm coming to you, Willow, for all these questions to figure out this stuff about John. Why does John want a dirty old bar of gold?
Because he knows how much it costs to run international rescue, and he knows how fast his daddy's burning through the inheritance. So he needs some backup. He needs to make his own investments.
He would be thinking about that though, wouldn't he? Because
he would. Like, look at Danger Ocean Deep. On his hands. In Danger Ocean Deep, he's sitting there worrying about the capital of the boat. He's like,
that's true.
We could have fixed this. We could have sorted this out. Like, my boy's smart. He knows.
I always wondered about that. Why is he worried about the boat? Why does he need to save the boat? And you've just answered that for me. Because he values
He's just financial genius as well. I feel he's just genius at everything.
He sees the investment and the hard work that's gone into building the Ocean Pioneer 2. He can't just let it be abandoned to be destroyed in some cataclysmic OD-60 explosion. That's not going to do it for John.
Think of the insurance.
Think of thought.
Think how much it's going to go up
for the poor insurance man who will have to deal with this claim.
I mean, how are the dogs going to pay this claim? They're not.
Right.
I like that the dogs are liable for this.
Yeah.
The dog food.
It's their food.
Amazing.
We will get to Danger
It's
Ocean
taken
Deep.
so long to have me on here because I can't be trusted.
I promise we will get to Danger Ocean Deep properly. I want to quickly cover the imposters and the fact that poor John basically just has to sit up on Thunderbird. Like, it hadn't occurred to me before until we were thinking about this show.
He's like, I'm never coming home.
He's stuck up there. They can't launch Thunderbird 3 to go and get him. So he's like, I hope you've got enough freeze-dried food up there, John, because you ain't coming down anytime
The toilet's
soon.
been emptied recently. Like, we hope you're okay up there, John, because you're going to be there a while. And Alan's just like, oh dear, I can't go up to Thunderbird 5 and spend a month up there. What a shame.
Yeah. But does John also feel like a bit of a sitting duck? Because he's up there,
Yeah.
you know, with
There's no
International
Operation
Rescue
Cover
Thunderbird
Up.
5 written on the front of his satellite. You know, he's just sitting there waiting for them to find
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, I mean, they're floating around in space. Like, Elliot goes floating past the window and John's like, hi. It's just, I don't know, he's just there. He's just vibing as best he can. 'Cause why worry about something you can't change?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Mitch the monkey and his little space capsule goes by.
Mhm.
Oh, John has to sit and watch all sorts of stuff going on in space, like all the nonsense.
My daughter has a theory that there was a sixth Tracy brother, which is Wally Tracy. And he was the original pilot of Thunderbird 5, the original space monitor, but got kidnapped by space pirates.
Ah, Boris and
Right.
Griselda, no doubt.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll need a little more proof for that one, I think. Now, another moment I quite like is in Cry Wolf, when John is having to work with Tony and Bob Williams. And again, it comes back to John's, really good communication and things like that. And how do you think he handles the conflict of whether to believe Tony and Bob or any of that?
I mean, he would be a great dad. Like, my heart, my ovaries on that point, because he would be brilliant. He's great with kids. I love the fact that he listens to them, and he can tell that difference between when they're sort of messing around and when they're being serious. And he's the one that he's saying to Jeff and everyone, I believe them. And everyone's taking the mick out of him and teasing him for it. And not once did my boy took the high road. Not once did he go, told you so. Because I would have been on that communicator as Scott's flying over there going, told you so. Should have listened.
Yeah.
But then also, why did Tony and Bob not just keep the radio going when stuff's falling around them so John could hear it? I mean,
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, I do like when John takes a firm stand with them, and he's like, "Now we've told you not to fake these emergency calls."
he'd be
I
the
like
strict
that.
parent, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But I love that. I love the way that I feel like also John almost treats them like little adults as well. He's trying to be say to them, okay, well, come on, boys, we did tell you about this already. And
Yeah,
I
trying to be
love that.
reasonable.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yes, exactly. Now we're finally here in the running order of the episode. Let's talk about Danger at Ocean Deep.
Okay.
It's John's episode, right? Yeah. Pretty much.
Unless you watch Turbocharged Thunderbirds, where they just erased John completely and turned him into Alan.
Yes.
How dare? How dare?
I know.
It is
That's
absurd.
worth the whole 10p. Just
It's
out there.
It's just
Turbocharged Thunderbird. I mean, I don't know how we ended up here, but Turbocharged Thunderbirds.
Michael, I mentioned it. I
really dirty, don't they?
That's like the Jerry Anderson version of a swear word. Saying Turbocharged Thunderbirds.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true, but the idea that Thunderbird 5 has been taken over by a couple of teenagers.
Yes, and I hate
Oh,
that. I feel like John was just I can't cope with this. I'm leaving. I'm gonna go. Get
Oh no, I think he's still there. It has the vibe
up
of
the cupboard?
these two kids live in John's basement. I think that's how it comes across to me. So
I would enjoy that more. I would enjoy that more. But I love Danger at Ocean Deep. I think it does show that John has a lot more potential. And I think that is why I do like the books and the comics a little bit more, because there's so much more that John does. I mean, there's one comic that I read before I even saw the show, and John is just absolutely amazing in it. And I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what you should be doing. And it's just I feel like he deserves so much more screen time than he gets. But if he's not going to get the screen time, I want people to actually use their noggins and actually think about how much more he could be doing. Because he's not just up there. He is not an answering phone service. He's doing a lot more than people think he is. Yes. And I think he gets to sort of showcase that a little bit in Danger Ocean Deep. So I like that.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him do more in Danger Ocean Deep. It's kind of a shame that Scott has to be there as well, basically.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen him kick the door down other than Scott. Mm-hmm. I feel like my boy could flex a little bit. I would be happy with this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bulky suits don't help, but you know.
Yeah, I always, as a kid, wanted to see him do more, especially in Danger at Ocean Deep, since he's actually there on the rescue. You're like, oh man, this is our chance to see John in action, and then Scott does the kicking, and you're like, man, like.
But John gets to climb a ladder, so that's nice.
He does get to climb a ladder. He does, and he gets to shout at Scott via microphone, which he probably does most days anyway.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty standard.
I do like the way that Virgil kind of just lets John get on with it. He just sits there, just flies the pain, and he's just like, "Do you know what? It's fine, mate. You decide. I whatever."
Oh yeah, if it was Gordon or Alan that had been sent in, they would have had to constantly be checking in on them. But no, it's John. Let him get on with it. Let him have some fun.
John knows what he's doing. John's fine.
What do you think to the idea that John's been on about a dozen rescues? I feel like that's a bit modest.
I think there probably is more that he's done, but I feel like again it could match up. It's a timeline thing, isn't it? Really, it's just. There could be a month where they have absolutely nothing to do, and then a month where they've got 3 or 4 back-to-back rescues. I think it just depends, and it's probably just bad luck. I mean, realistically, I don't think Alan's probably been on many more rescues than John has. Right. If John says it's about a dozen, you don't really see Alan being on many more either. It's true. Normally always just Scott and Virgil. Same with Gordon. Yeah. So just because we didn't see it on screen.
Yeah. Well, Scott's Scott's fiddling with the truth there anyway, isn't he?
He's lying because that man took Thunderbird 1 on holiday.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I've been on all of them. Like, no, where did he park it, for one thing? And do you think he got better service wherever he was because of it?
These are questions that we will have to make sure we cover on our Scott Tracy episode. I want to dig into a little bit of what if here. The episode's security hazard. Mm-hmm. If for some mad reason Chip Morrison had ended up on Thunderbird 5, what stories, if any, do you think John would have told little Chip?
I feel like John wouldn't have been telling stories as much as more educating. I feel like John is more of one of those ones that he'd be talking to him more about the equipment and kind of what they do and what his job is rather than the rescues that he's been on. There is a comic where 2 kids end up on Thunderbird 5 with Brains and John, and it's really random and I love it. So it does happen at one point, and they're fine. They're nice to them. It's fine. So
they're nice to them.
No one dies. No one dies.
Airlock. They were fine. But no, I feel
summary execution from international.
I feel like John's stories would be more along the lines of, okay, so what did the others tell you? And then whatever the others told them, he would be, now let me tell you the truth about that and what actually happened and how I fixed it. Like, this happened and then that happened. And I heard him say over the radio, I feel like John just needs to gossip with somebody.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He definitely set the record straight.
He would.
His approach. He would never stand for Troy Tempest making up a story about shooting himself through a missile tube or anything.
He would not. And
John's much more truthful than that.
Yeah. Where Alan's all like, well, I take Scott with me, like, as a rule, you know, it's you need Scott there, boy. It's
Yeah.
I would not trust you. If I saw Alan coming on his own, I'd be like, I respectfully request a different rescuer. I'll wait here. You go get me the other blonde one. Thank you.
Legend.
Right. Well, speaking of giving John a bit more to do, we come to Atlantic Inferno.
Mhm.
As soon as Jeff is out of the picture, immediately John has more screen time.
Yeah.
Like it happens pretty much instantly. Suddenly John needs to be communicating a lot more.
Yeah.
To the point where, as we've discussed, it kind of annoys him a bit that they keep calling him.
I don't know if it's annoying him or he's just not used to it. He's just like expecting the worst. Like, what happened? What do I have to fix?
Yeah.
What tape do I have to erase from space here? Like, browsing history gone. Like, what's going on?
So do you think do you think John trusts Scott
Definitely.
to be in charge?
I think they would. Not to get too much into like Thunderbirds, I'll go about it, but controversially, I do not think there should have been a 4th season of Thunderbirds, I'll go. I do not think it would have worked.
Right.
I do not. Having Jeff back would have ruined the entire show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I think once you'd set up that dynamic of the 5 boys.
It's so nice
the job,
seeing them
5
all
boys and
interacting
KO and
together. John having more to do and everything else. It's so nice seeing them relying on each other and actually discussing things together and discussing how they're going to do the rescues rather than Jeff just giving out the orders. I love Jeff, I do, but I feel like he could trust his boys a bit more. We literally see it in Atlantic Inferno that he does not trust them. Scott's 30 years old and you're worried about leaving them alone on the island with your toys and your rockets. Like, Jeff.
I mean, he doesn't exactly demonstrate a lot of self-control when there's apple pie involved, so.
He's a growing boy. He's hungry.
That's true. That's true. No, some people would argue that Jeff Tracy is the main character, the protagonist of Thunderbirds. So it's interesting that you feel like it works. It still works as a concept. You can sort of pull that linchpin out of it. It's still
I
really
think it
functional
works
show.
in original Thunderbirds because of the time period that it was made. It's very much that kind of family dynamic where if the kids are staying at home and still living at home, the parents are in charge. The dad is the head of the household. He makes all the decisions no matter how old the kids are. Whereas I like the fact that in Thunderbirds I'll Go, you kind of see that dynamic shift and you see them take on a lot more responsibility themselves. And it gives their personalities a chance to come out, which I love.
That is great. That is great.
It is great.
I think they should have put Grandma in charge for an episode or two. I just would like to see.
Well, when in Volcano, you do see when the professor's asking John to speak to his supervisor, he does pass over to Grandma. He's like, yeah, get on with it, love. Good luck. So Grandma in charge is brilliant.
Perfection.
It is. Now, a couple of other little bits. John, let's be honest, in series 2 of the original series, does start to drop off a little bit.
He does.
And that's purely, I think, because, as we said, there's so many characters to balance. You know, they're paying more attention to characters like Lady Penelope. Brains gets a bit more to do, so the focus is just shifting a bit. But we do have a couple of kind of gold John things to cover, such as Ricochet. Poor John loses his voice.
I'm sorry. Do we not think that it's great that my boy is spending some of his spare time learning how to imitate his brothers?
Right. To their faces when they're standing right there.
Yes. It's like, see how good I've managed it now. Like, I could call Dad and do something and say something and he would never know. I could get you in so much trouble.
Gordon probably goes up and it's like, oh yeah, this is why I don't visit more often, because you always take the mickey out of my voice.
And you make me work. Right.
That's hilarious.
My boy's ventriloquism and impressions is just spot on.
Well, likewise then, is that the reason why in Thunderbird 6 he suddenly has Keith Alexander's voice instead of Ray Barrett's? Yeah,
exactly
it's
that.
an impression.
Get bored. My boy gets bored. He's up there a lot, you know. In that case, like, why does Alan have a different voice in Trapped in the Sky?
Well, I think Alan probably something happened to him. That's my theory. Something nasty happened to him. I
He
don't know.
burnt his vocal cords on hot apple pie.
That'll change your larynx, all right.
Yeah.
Now
Now
it
we're
was a
jumping.
McDonald's apple pie because it's like they're like the lava.
Just shoot, hot apple at you. Yeah, they're horrible. Now, just. Ben, have you never had this hot apple pie experience at McDonald's?
No.
It's horrendous. It really is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether it would change your voice from Ray Barrett to Matt Zimmerman or not, but
Definitely an experiment that should be. There should be a controlled scientific experiment about this.
Yes. Well, I wanted to, as far as our original series chat goes, I wanted to ask about Give or Take a Million, and I wanted to talk about Christmas and John, and how do you feel about him, not going home for Christmas?
I feel like Santa's magical and can find him anywhere.
That's so sweet. I can just picture Santa's sleigh
Just
on its
Santa's
way.
there with just his goldfish bowl on his head, just knocking on the airlock, just to pass over a present.
I think John hanging up his stocking on one of the antenna
exactly adorable. It's
would be
needed.
very sweet.
I feel like what we're missing here is a very key bit of lore, which is the fact that a lot of the boys have done some kind of military service. So I feel like a lot of them probably are used to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and obviously I feel like they would take it in turns. I feel like it's going to be Alan's turn next year. So, and
We can
honestly,
only hope.
you've got an annoying child voiced by Sylvia Anderson there. You'd want to be in space too.
Oh, did John get the better end of the deal?
He
Is
did.
that it?
He did. He didn't
Yeah.
have to sing at the piano or anything.
That's true. Well, does John have a good singing voice? Did we miss out there?
It's Ray Barrett's singing voice. Of course he does. I mean, we listen to him in Stingray. You know it's good.
And
Cass Carnaby, you know perfect.
True.
Cass Carnaby is literally just John in flirt mode.
Yeah.
You know this.
Right.
that should go on a t-shirt.
Definitely gonna have to rewatch the Cham Cham now and see if that bears out.
Cass Carnaby is just John Tracy in flirt mode.
It is.
Get your bumper stickers now.
That's
folks.
gonna be my new T-shirt. That's gonna take over from the single dating married to John Tracy T-shirt that I've got.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to take over from that. Yeah.
Definitely. 100%.
I like that.
That's great.
Yeah. It's only just occurred to me, and this is incredibly stupid, deep stuff, but what a shame, because David Holliday, Virgil's original voice in series 1, fantastic singer,
Amazing singing voice.
incredible singer. We missed out by not having him at the piano.
We did.
Sing. He doesn't. Virgil doesn't sing at all
No.
until he's being voiced by Jeremy Wilkin. And let's just say, the boys around the piano in Give or Take a Million cannot. Matt Zimmerman was a singer as well. And
we know that Shane Rimmer was an amazing singer as well. He's got a fantastic voice as well.
It's true.
So I do feel like they were all putting on a very bad singing voice for that.
Okay.
So I wonder if maybe there was just a little bit too much of Grandma's Punch consumed. If that was sort of influencing their vocal control.
It must have been.
Well, Jeff is definitely hungover at the beginning of the episode.
He is,
That's
and
for
Lady
sure.
Penelope's wearing Christmas baubles as earrings. There's a whole issue going on here.
There was a crazy party there on Tracy.
Grandma stole the Duchess of Royston's entire wardrobe. So I'm assuming that she lost all her money gambling again and had to sell some stuff off. And like, can we help out this time?
Meanwhile, poor Nikki is stuck in the middle of this.
Yeah, the Duchess assignment is literally like old lady, like a philanthropist and an aristocrat help an old lady to scam with art forgery. It's literally that. It's
Good heavens.
God, we love it. We love it. I think that pretty much takes us through John, a lot of John's key moments in the original series. I wanted to briefly touch upon things like the 2004 movie and we talked a lot about Thunderbirds Are Go. As far as like Lex Shrapnel's performance in the movie and Thomas Brodie Sangster in the new series, what are your feelings on those reinterpretations of the character?
When I first saw Lex Shrapnel, I kind of wanted to cry. 'Cause I'm like, what did they do to my boy's hair? For one thing, like what happened? Was he aware of this fact? But I personally, I love it. I think Lex, weirdly enough, kind of brings that perfect Johnness to it, because John is the quieter one. He is the more sensible one. He's the one that kind of thinks things through a little bit more. He's not as impetuous and impulsive as everybody else. And I feel like Lex really let that shine through with the way that he was, especially in that movie, portrayed as like the oldest brother. And I love that. I think that works well.
Yeah, comes across really nicely. And then, yeah, we've talked about Thunderbirds I'll Go, John, quite a bit, and how they, had this golden opportunity to suddenly give that character a lot more to do. And I think it's performed really nicely. I think it's great performance by Thomas Brodie Sangster. And
I love that one. I love that version of the boy.
Now, if you had to choose,
oh boy,
feels bad to choose, but favorite version of John.
It depends on my mood.
Okay.
Depends on my mood. Okay, purely as the designated Mrs. Space Tracy, I feel like Tag John would be the better version, because he can come down home a lot easier and a lot quicker. Like, we've got the space elevator, I feel like that would be like, just for convenience sake, he's easier, I feel. And the tight suit helps, let's be real. But I do love my original boy. I do think he's absolutely perfect. And if I don't love him, who else is going to, honestly? So I need to pick my original boy, I fear.
Love that. Well,
so I'm hearing original John in Tag costume.
Yeah. Either or. I will take it either or. But no, I feel like the original boy needs a lot more love. And I feel like he's the one that I originally fell in love with. He's the one that got me into loving Thunderbirds as much as I do. He's my comfort character out of all of it. So I will have to pick original, as much as I do love that one.
Excellent.
That's
excellent.
fantastic.
Well, you would
Love
be
that.
pleased to know that we've had a huge outpouring on social media of
As you
love
should.
for John. And obviously people were very excited that you were coming on the show. So I want to read out a few social media comments that we had from everybody. We won't be able to get through all of them because there were far too many. But I'm going to start on Instagram with Crazy Jedi 2004 said his best moment has to be his reaction to the possibility of half of England blowing up with wowee, that's serious.
Is he wrong, though?
He's not wrong.
Exactly.
He's not wrong.
He's
It's
not
serious.
wrong.
It is very serious.
Give us the details.
Yeah.
Adam Luff, friend of the show over on Instagram, says, John's cool. I was amused when I saw City of Fire and he said, I can't wait to dive into that pool. Forget saying hello to everyone, just straight to the pool.
Yeah.
Going back to the continuity error you mentioned in The Uninvited, maybe that's why he didn't return with Scott. He hopped off the moving sofa and walked to the pool. Yeah, that's we didn't talk about how in The Uninvited, Scott arrives back on the sofa without John. Where did John go in between, in that little gap in The Uninvited?
I think that John went straight to the take off the uniform decontamination type chamber.
Oh, right. And Scott just skipped it. He's
Yeah.
not concerned about space safety.
Yeah. I mean, I can buy John being a bit of a germaphobe. That checks out. Right, Mark Perkins says, I'm really looking forward to the John Tracy special. I always loved it when Thunderbird 5 finally appeared in an episode with its own iconic piece of music. It signified that the setup was over and the real action was about to start. As a child watching, I remember finding great comfort in the idea that someone, somehow, was watching out for us, and by speaking into any radio anywhere, I'd be rescued. His voice was so authoritative and yet calming that out of... sorry, I've lost my place. His voice was so authoritative and yet calming that anyone who he spoke to must have felt convinced they were in capable hands and would be out of danger soon. It was great fun when the later iteration of John in Thunderbirds Are Go was much more involved in the action, but for me, it removed the all-seeing, slightly remote but benevolent aspect to his character. So I preferred the original.
Yeah.
Lovely
Well
stuff.
said.
Thank you very much.
Me and Mark have talked about this many a time. So I had to pick my cat up because she was trying to chew my laptop lead.
We don't
I
want
had,
that.
I had to internationally rescue myself at that point. Weirdly enough, she's called Star. So, we're sticking with the space theme.
Excellent, excellent.
What have we done? Me and Mark have talked about this a lot. And we've talked about why I love John just as much as I do. And me and Mark are in complete agreement with it. I think he makes some very good points. I much as I love that, I do kind of miss the kind of remoteness of John and the kind of him being a little bit detached to be able to sort of see it all a little bit more. I love that.
Yeah, there's going back to what we were saying earlier. There's a bit of a Santa Claus vibe about John, isn't there? Where he's sort of like he's always up there, always listening.
Yeah. Sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
It's a bit creepy, but
He's definitely got a naughty list.
He does.
That's
He
true.
100% has.
Undoubtedly. Ian Dealey 9033 says John Tracy is without doubt the most important member of International Rescue, given the fact that he is the first one to receive the distress call, FAB.
He is, exactly.
Excellent.
No arguments here.
Rhapsody Angel says, being a bit of an introvert, I wouldn't mind having John's job. I could read my books in peace. Anyway, I do like Danger Ocean Deep as he does get to go out on a rescue and looks quite disheveled, which suits him. I have a soft spot for John.
Aww.
Yeah, and me and Rhapsody have spoken about this at times as well. And yeah, John's obviously just perfect, even when he is a little bit mussed and fussed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Railroad Animation over on YouTube says John Tracy showed us all the benefits of working remote. So yes, ahead of the curve there with working from home, so to speak.
And what a lovely house that is to work in.
That's true. Yeah,
That's true.
It's a nice little environment to be in. Yeah, for sure. Andrew Clements, don't know who he is, says, I'm desperately trying to think of a John question for the show that I haven't asked Willow before. Okay, if there was a Spider-Man No Way Home style crossover with the original series, 2004 movie, and Thunderbirds I'll Go, with all the Johns all meeting, who would take the lead, as in Holland? Who would be the voice of experience, Maguire, and who would be the fanboy, just happy to be there, Garfield?
Tag John would be Tom Holland. He would be the lead. 2004 John would be the voice of reason. This one would be the fanboy that's just excited to be there, because the amount of times he just sounds so excited to be involved in anything. That's just him.
That's great.
Right.
He'd be like, wow, there's three of us,
Fantastic. That's a great answer. Well said. Philip Cully over on Facebook says, I like John a lot. He'll never be as popular as Scott or Virgil, but his little moments make me smile. My headcanon is that he's a happy introvert who loves to be alone in Thunderbird 5. Let the other brothers risk their lives while he stays up in space, spying on the planet. I think my favorite moment has to be in City of Fire, his resigned, uh-oh, I spoke too soon, just as he's getting ready to go home, is wonderful.
Yeah.
See, I don't call him an introvert. I don't really see him as an introvert so much. I just see him as someone that's just a little bit quieter, because there is that time when he says, like, he's sitting there, he's like, sure gets lonely. So he kind of misses being around people, actually being there. I think he's kind of got this, he loves space, and I feel like it's kind of like when your partner's away for the week, like you'll make the most of the time alone, but you kind of miss them and want them to come home.
Yeah.
You just make the most of it. So like, he's up there, he's doing his thing, he'll make the most of it while he's up there, but he likes being at home. He likes catching up with everyone. Look at the way at the end of Danger Ocean Deep, he is sitting there chatting away with Scott beside the pool. And in every single moment when we kind of see John at home, he is in the center of everything. He's not that introvert. Apart from in City of Fire at the end, where he's skulking in the background because he is not getting involved in that women drivers chat that Scott's doing. He's like, I'm out. I'm paid to see danger coming. I am not doing it.
A very wise man in that
He
sense,
is.
for sure.
Very, very wise. Next up, Susie Jones says, I'm so glad we're giving John Tracy a bit of love. I always thought as a kid he must be so lonely up there while his brothers have all the daring rescues and adventures. And although Alan was my favourite throughout the Super Mario Nation series, I absolutely loved Lex Shrapnel's version of John in the 2004 live-action movie. For me, he was one of the strongest characters in the film and really brought John to life. Great stuff.
Definitely.
Thank you, Susie.
I love Lex's version of John. I think he does. That's why I picked him as, like, with AC's comment, the voice of reason. He feels like he's got that maturity to him. He feels like he has been there and done it. And especially in the 2004, you kind of see the way that they seem to kind of evolve through the Thunderbird crafts at some point. So it feels like John's probably done a bit of the other ones as well and done some of the rescues in that. And he's the oldest. It's like in the biographies that he's the oldest. He's probably done a lot of that already, and he has got that experience, and he is just there being like, I need some peace and quiet now.
Nice. Like that. Yeah, that's great.
Coco9728 over on YouTube says, my favorite moment is his first appearance in Trapped in the Sky, where he's seen gazing out of TB5's window, watching the earth below. That moment is quite peaceful.
It is lovely. It's visually, it's stunning, because obviously he's stunning anyway, but just the whole background, the whole seeing through the window with him, it's almost like the camera's looking through the window with him as well as he's looking out over space. It's just beautiful.
They obviously put a lot of time into thinking about how we're going to establish what exactly Thunderbird 5 is and what John's role is, and that shot does it perfectly. It does it so well. It's great. Megan Davies says, I like it in the episode Danger at Ocean Deep when John is more involved in the rescue instead of just being alone in space. I like that episode. Yes, well, we like having John. We have like having more John time too. I think we can agree with
Justice
that.
for John.
Yes.
For sure. The Celestial Toy Gazer says, for a start, he's the most handsome of the siblings. But in truth, I like that he is separated from the rest of his family like he is. I know it certainly wasn't intentional, but I always relate more to outcasts or outsider types. I'd be remiss not to mention Danger at Ocean Deep, but my favorite moment of his has to be his immediate, much more personal concern when Jeff calls for help at brink of disaster, and his quick thinking and concealing it. Also, I'll take this opportunity to shamelessly plug the short story I wrote about him, an audio version of which is uploaded on my channel here. Have you heard this audio version, Willow?
I have not. I shall have to go searching for it.
Yes,
or someone can send me the link to it.
The Celestial Toy Gazer 7816 is that YouTube channel.
I will have a look.
Right.
If not, he can find me somewhere around social media. He can just send me a link.
Yeah.
You don't mind people just John stuff coming at you.
I have a dedicated email for stuff like that. I have a dedicated email address that is used for the TikTok stream where people can send me stuff like their fan edits and their fan art and their collectibles and stuff. It's sosinternationalrescue@gmail.com. So literally send me a link.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Love it. Nick James Thorne says, we're going to come up with a couple more comments here. We've got loads and loads, so I think we're going to have to cut here. So Nick James Thorne says, like many fans, my heart bleeds for John, but I find it interesting how he is totally absent in episodes like Sunprobe, Moving Your Dead, The Perils of Penelope, Terror in New York City, Security Hazard, Alias, Mr. Hackenbacker, and Lord Barker's Holiday. Could Jerry's views have rubbed off on a few of the writers, maybe, or did they just have it in for some of Ray Barrett's characters? I think his best moment is really in Danger at Ocean Deep, to be honest, even if it is only towards the last 20 minutes of the episode. I do think he should have been part of the Fireflash test flight in Operation Crash Dive as well, as maybe as part of Thunderbird 2's crew. But at least in the CGI series, he does see more action and his character is a bit more complex. Well, I think Nick has raised a lot of the points that we have covered and kind of...
Definitely.
Yes. Very last one from Penguin Made of Dynamite. There's too many favorite moments to name, so I'll try and narrow it down. John's many amazing reactions to distress calls from "Wowee" to "giant alligators" are top notch. Everything in Danger at Ocean Deep, ultimate fave. John talking to himself in City of Fire, especially how he reacts to the distress call. Highly underappreciated and underutilized character. Been a fave since I was a little girl. Thank you for doing this episode. Well, thank you, Penguin Made of Dynamite, for tuning in.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for your comments. We weren't able to cover all of them because there were so many, but Willow, I hope you saw lots of love for John.
I did, and honestly, my heart's restored a little bit to know that my boy does have some love out there, because I do kind of sometimes feel like I'm sort of like paddling upstream against rapids, going over Niagara Falls without an oar, sometimes being like, John's the best. So it is nice to actually see some people that, one, are not arguing with me about and giving me a million reasons why he's rubbish and the rest are better. So yeah, it's been nice to see this. We very much appreciate this outpouring of love for the boy.
It's well deserved.
Very well deserved.
As his official spokesperson, we agree. Yes, we appreciate this.
Yes, and there's no one better for that job. Thank you very much, Willow, for joining us this evening. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening to the Security Hazard Show. We broadcast this show live every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. UK time on YouTube, or you can catch up on your favorite podcast platform of choice. And if you want a little bit more security hazard in your life, well, Ben, I believe you know exactly where people should go.
Do I know? You should go to Thunderbird 5. No, patreon.com/security hazard is where you should go. And we've talked a lot about Thunderbirds Are Go on this podcast, and I am relatively new to Thunderbirds Are Go. I've been watching it for the very first time for our patrons. So if you want to see live reaction shots of me watching episodes of Thunderbirds Are Go for the very first time, I'm almost through the first block of season 1. So more of those are coming very soon, and we have a bunch on there already, plus tons of other stuff. Jack just posted a wonderful video about Parker's very interesting Rumba, which I think may be the single best piece of content Jack has ever produced in his long career of producing Thunderbirds related content. And that's a Patreon exclusive. You can't find that anywhere else, folks. That's only on patreon.com/security hazard. So don't walk, run to patreon.com/security hazard to watch Parker's very interesting Rumba.
Thank you,
Ben. Did I oversell that slightly?
No. I think you're spot on. Willow. Thank you.
How do I follow that? So what do I do
I
now?
don't know, but I want to hear all about. You mentioned the TikTok live streams that you do on the Anderson Entertainment account. Can you invite people along? Where do we find them?
So basically, this came about when Jamie was asked, "Who do we know that can chat for over an hour or by herself?" And like, call Willow. So basically, it's me on there chatting about all things Jerry Anderson with anyone that wants to turn up. So it's on the TikTok, on the official Jerry Anderson TikTok page. And like I said, I'm on there and we chat. It's our Fab fan stream. So it's giving the fans a chance to kind of have their voice heard, actually talk about the things that they want to do, ask some questions. And I always say, if I don't know the answer, I will consult my Anderson oracles. And I will find the answer and come back to you next week with that answer. So it's a way of just interacting with other fans and just kind of having fun with it.
It's fantastic.
It's always a fun time. I always try and tune in when I can, and it's always your ability to just, I don't know, lighten up the conversation.
My ability to yap mostly about John.
But we've been doing this live broadcast today, and it's not an easy thing to do to like keep on going and keep on chatting about Thunderbirds.
It's not easy when you're the only person yapping as well. At least there's 3 of us here today. If you're on your own, you're yapping into the void and hoping people are in the comments to talk to you.
Yes.
So
Well,
come and join me. Don't leave me lonely on my own, please.
I know that there are people who love tuning into that every single. It's like
There are.
weekly that you do that now.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Normally every Tuesday. We are discussing the fact that if we've got any more Anderson events coming out and stuff, I can do like a live stream from the events and stuff as well. We have done that a few times. We can do that again. So yeah, just come along and chat to us.
All right.
And occasionally, if it's a special occasion, I will do it on a different day. Sometimes when it comes like Christmas Eve and stuff like that, I will do it on like Christmas Eve and things and just other bits and pieces. Or when it's actual like Thunderbirds Day or Anderson Day or something like that, we will just hang out and chat.
Excellent.
It's
Love
really
that.
fun. That's at 7 p.m. UK time on TikTok.
Yeah, I noticed I gave
TV.
absolutely no context of when it was. I was just like, come and join me. Just be there the entire time. Just wait for me.
Just sit there waiting, staring at your phone, waiting for Willow to appear.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I go on TikTok, sometimes that is all I do.
Just waiting for Willow's
I'm not
eyes.
really there for much else.
The TikTok void of scrolling is just there.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Willow, for coming on. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye for now.
Giant alligators.